Hello YouTube, my name is rhianaB and welcome back to another Survivor Game Changers review episode. Now, we had a lot to talk about in last episode, so it's just nice to get back into the game and really get into what Survivor's all about. So, let's go ahead and get started. Also, this is a two-parter episode because we did have 2 episodes this week, so I'm going to try to cram in as much information as I can in a short amount of time, so let's get started. So the big news from the first episode is that we are finally merged. That means all tribes are together, but there was a little bit of a twist and something that could maybe go further down the road as a good thing or a bad thing. Before they merged, there was a giant feast for everyone, but the twist is that everyone could join in on the feast, only if one person from each tribe, so one person from Nuku, one person from Mana, they had to give up the feast so that everyone else could enjoy the food, and if not, then everyone would get like a swig of iced tea and 1 graham cracker with cheese on it. So pretty quickly, Brad Culpepper from Mana decided that he was going to give up the feast. Honestly, I'm not too surprised. He is a dad, and I feel like, and he did say himself, you know, that's what Monica would have done, and Monica did that in Blood vs. Water. She gave up her reward after she won immunity and gave it to everybody else to enjoy. So that didn't surprise me all that much. And then Ty on Nuku did give it up, and it took some time for him to decide this, but he is a very generous person and a very nice person, so this isn't too surprising that he would give it up either. So Brad and Ty go over by themselves, like on the other side of a series of bushes, while everyone else decides to go eat. Now, already Brad is trying to kind of get Ty to work by his side and try to see if he can get him into a possible alliance, which I think at this point, it's probably gonna happen. Ty, I don't think was in the best position back at the Nuku tribe, so I think he's gonna side with Culpepper because that's a side that's got numbers on it, and Brad does have a lot of numbers right now. So I think that's a smart move on Ty. We also had Debbie basically playing the fool and trying to act drunk and stuff like that, and in her mind, it's a way to kind of let loose and let people like see her in a not so serious light. The thing is with Debbie is that she is a smart person. She is. But the thing is, does she think so highly of herself that it's going to start clouding her judgment on what's going on around her? She thinks she knows what's in the loop. But sometimes when you get overconfident, that can go and bite you in the ass. So we'll see about Debbie and how that works. So once they get back to camp, Brad starts trying to coerce all of his members, which at this point it's Sierra, Troyzan, and maybe Ty. So that's a pretty big group of numbers, but then we have the other side, and that is Cirie's main alliance, which is Zeke, Aubrey, Andrea, and Sarah. So we're kind of basically at the point now where we have 2 main alliances kind of butting heads right now. And we'll see, and I'll later talk about which side is probably better off right now. So with those 2 big alliances, we kind of have Haley and Michaela kind of floating around like as free agents or maybe people who they don't want to work with. So Michaela goes to Cirie, and Cirie really likes Michaela and kind of wants to protect her, and Cirie knows that she could use Michaela as help further down the line. And then we had Haley as well trying to get Michaela to work alongside her, which smart move on Haley because when you're at the bottom, why not work with the people who are on the bottom with you? So she warns Michaela that her name's been thrown around, and that gets Michaela a little worried, so now she really leans on Cirie, which I don't think at the end of the day that worked really well for Haley because she went towards Cirie and not Haley, but I mean, it was a good move. It was at least a decent move on Haley's part to try. We had our first individual immunity challenge and Andrea wins. We go back to camp and we see that Sierra she's kind of in the place now where she is both confident yet very paranoid. She is always thinking so many moves inside of her head, and the thing she says is she's very worried about Michaela and Haley. She wants to get Michaela out first, but she does start saying to people, oh, Haley may have an idol because Haley seems a little too confident because I've played with her before. So she tries to throw that out to people. I don't know at this point if Sierra is in a really good... She is in a pretty good number position right now, and she is like top she is more on the top of that alliance because she worked with Brad all this time. But the thing is that I just feel like, kind of in a sense similar to Debbie, it's like you think you know what's in the loop and that could, at the end of the day, harm you rather than help you, so I think Sierra needs to work on that further down the road. So our tribal council chopping block, it's Michaela, Haley, and Zeke's name did get thrown around a little bit. And to Haley's credit, she did try to defend herself and trying to throw some words against other people, possibly to try to save herself. But I think people realized at Tribal that she is a really good talker, and she is someone who could be a very potential strategic and social threat down the road. So Haley did end up being the next person voted off, and she became the first member of the jury. So moving on to part 2, we see that Suri is basically the real instigator of her entire alliance. She basically has Michaela like attached to her hip, and also she and Andrea are really working on strategizing and things like that. And that does not sit well with Zeke. Zeke has had this thing where he wants to be in control of the game. And honestly, that's kind of what made his last game he played last season, why it really went downhill very quickly for Zeke, because he tried to make big moves, but they just didn't work. And he also went up against some really heavyweight leaders. And you know, Suri is really big powerhouse when it comes to Survivor gameplay. She is a fantastic player. So Zeke really has to be careful when messing with Suri because, you know, she can really pull some strings together. She can talk some sense into people and really make them come to a certain conclusion. So we had a reward challenge, and Zeke's group of people won the reward. So while at that reward challenge, Zeke is trying to talk to Ty and Debbie to try to see if they would be willing to get Andrea out of the game. Debbie at this point is not really following Zeke because I think she sees that Zeke is trying to take control and it's a little too obvious. So as of right now, I don't think Zeke has really that many numbers to work with at this point, but maybe it can happen. Later, who knows. Immunity challenge is next, and it's a Survivor Classic where you have to hold on to a pole for as long as you can. And wow, that was such an amazing immunity challenge to watch. Of course, we had Ozzy, who had participated in this challenge twice and had won twice, so he's never lost this challenge. And I kind of would think the only person that could really maybe stand a chance up against Ozzy would be Ty, because Ty is really good at like centering himself, and he can be very focused when it comes to challenges like that, because he did very well in the last immunity challenge too, which was all about balance. After an hour and 35 minutes, holy crap, Ozzy actually lost the challenge and was dethroned by Ty. And I gotta say, Ozzy really took it in stride, and that was such a cool moment to watch. And holy crap, an hour and 35 minutes? Like holding on to a giant pole however far above the ground. I mean, oh boy. I would think I would be good at, you know, endurance and challenges, you know, endurance and balance challenges, but then I like see how long it can go for and I'm like, can I last for that long? So kudos to all of them. I mean, that's not an easy challenge to do. So the chopping block for this tribal council, we have Zeke, and thanks to Debbie, we have Ozzy. Zeke tried to talk to Sierra, and I think Sierra also saw that Zeke was trying to take a lot of control, probably too soon, and she ends up going to Suri and Andrea and spilling the beans and telling them that Zeke told her that he wants Andrea gone. And Andrea got very upset about this, and she wanted him gone. But I think there were other people who were kind of thinking maybe not a good time to get Zeke out, let's get rid of another threat, and that's when Debbie says, let's get rid of Ozzy to really flip the game around. And honestly, it is smart to get rid of Ozzy. He is a challenge beast. He can be a number for someone, especially on Suri's side, so that is a smart move to do that. I did get a little peeved because Andrea took it very personal when she heard that Zeke was targeting her. Honestly, in a season like this where everyone is considered a threat, I would kind of semi-take it as a compliment that someone said, I'm a big threat and I need to go. I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't make you feel any better when someone says they want you to go home. But he's basically saying you're a threat, so why are you getting so peeved about him saying that to you? Maybe because that she defended him throughout all the crazy drama that happened at that really, semi-tough to watch tribal council last week, but I don't know. So we get to tribal council, and there comes the vote. Honestly, I felt like in the beginning that it was going to be Ozzy. I felt like there were more numbers on that side to vote for Ozzy, but Debbie does use her exile advantage and uses her extra vote for Ozzy, which at the end of which we find out she really didn't even need to use it. She had the numbers from the get-go. So she did waste her advantage, but she still got her way, and Ozzy was voted out, and Ozzy became the second member of the jury. Alright, so predictions for next episode. We do see that Cerie's alliance is kind of starting to fall apart because Andrea is really mad at Zeke, which I don't know how long that's going to last for. It may last for the rest of the game, who knows. And also we see that Sarah is probably going to flip and start working with Brad and Sierra's alliance, which at this point now has a lot of numbers. And something that I think would be interesting is that Sarah is also going to try to work with Zeke. Since Zeke did get a lot of votes in this tribal council, he's definitely going to need to find some allies to work with here, because there's no way he's going to want to work with Andrea or Cerie again, because now he's lost their trust. He could move with Brad and Sierra, but he may be on the bottom of that totem pole. So I think it would be smart if Sarah works with Brad and Sierra, and if she starts to now work with Zeke, Zeke can now get some information from Sarah, who's maybe going to start playing double agent, which I think would really benefit her game and Zeke's. But who knows, we'll have to wait and see next episode. So as far as possible vote-offs for next episode, it's kind of crazy because I'm not 100% sure at this point who is possibly going to be the bigger threat. Right now, everyone is seeming like a very big threat. I still say Cerie needs to go. She's a big threat. If she gets too far in this game, she could possibly win. I keep saying that every week, but I mean it every time. Cerie needs to go. Other than that, though, I think either Brad or Sierra, either of them may be in trouble because they are the higher part of that alliance. So either they're going to get rid of the mastermind or they're going to get rid of the psychic. And you can kind of decipher who's the leader and who's the sidekick. Alright guys, on that note, I'm going to end the video here. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of both episodes? What did you think of the merge? And what do you think is going to happen next? Leave me those comments down below. I would love to read them. And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead and hit subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today. Until the next video, bye! Mwah.